What's up, guys? It's Drac, and this is the Nerf Accustrike RAPTORSTRIKE. Now, this is the North American model. You can tell from the orange trigger, and I am so very excited to get it out of the package, as this is a full production run model. That means that we'll know exactly how it performs, and, like, it's consistent with what will be sold on the shelves. Now, this one did not come from Los Estados Unidos. It came from the wonderful land of maple syrup. My friend Chris travels a bunch for work. He was up there. He found a monstrously awesome Toys R Us, which was really, really cool to see, and he Facebooked me, and he was like, hey, do you have one of these yet? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, good for you. I've got a job in Florida, so I'm driving through Georgia land. And so he brought this by the workshop, and I am super stoked to unbox it and review it for you guys now on camera, because I don't know how many RAPTORSTRIKEs are floating around the States, although they are definitely up in Canada land. Now, that said, the RAPTORSTRIKE is an Accustrike blaster. I thought that the Alpha Hawk was going to be the flagship, but this is definitely the flagship. It's much larger than the Alpha Hawk. It's got a huge faux barrel area up here. Magazines go here, and then I can't even imagine how long this trigger mechanism must be to reach any sort of like catch, because the bolt comes back. It's just very, very exciting. So I don't think that this is a functional successor to the long shot necessarily, but who knows? It could be kind of, sort of. It is definitely a sniper rifle styled Nerf blaster with a focus on accuracy rather than performance. And that's the only gripe that I have about this, is that when I tinkered with the Toy Fair model, the performance seemed a little low compared to, I guess, the elite standard that most toys are measured by now, especially when you consider that a lot of competing products just blow the elite standard out of the water. So we have, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so 18 Accustrike darts, which is excellent that it comes with enough to fill its 2 magazines that it comes with twice. Now, they are sniper mags, and that they do hold 6 darts, but they've got these funky bumper. These are definitely a different shape. I want to say that they've changed just a little bit from prototype to production, but these are very cool magazines indeed. They're different than other 6 clips, so I'm sure that some people will decide that they really love them and they will find their cult following. I know that in particular a lot of people did not like the double dealer mags, but I really liked the double dealer mags. They had kind of a P-mag sort of feel to them. So set that aside, get these darts out, and load this guy up. Okay, so let's take a look at the back. We obviously are showing off this pop-up sight. We've got the actual sight there, so you can choose between, I guess, an iron sight, I know they're made of plastic here, or an acrylic sight, I guess, and this pops up spring-loaded. That was me being an idiot trying to remember how to pull this thing off, and it was pointless because it is a spring-loaded sight. So that's kind of cool. It gives you various little elevations a la machine guns of yore. Then we have a jam door up here. I've already pulled the bolt back so that I could remove the magazine, but it's a pretty standard N-Strike style bolt up there. Nothing too terribly special about it, complete with dart tooth in the front, so it is not actually a full breech. Now, the controls are very far back for this. You've got your magazine release all the way back here, and your trigger here. There isn't a rev switch, obviously, but it does have those super fun grip panels. So, I like handles like this. I like thumb ports. I love hand guards, and I'm actually not as opposed to this kind of magazine release as some of our more operator nerfers in the hobby go. Now, some people can't seem to separate their real steel experience from their play, but I have never really had an issue with that. So I think that this is a pretty sweet design. I like that I don't have to move my hand to do anything like drop a magazine here, especially since I want to keep this hand fixed, and I'll be operating the bolt with my other hand. I have not actually snapped this bolt into place. You should assemble the blaster fully, but I know for a fact that I like the RAPTORSTRIKE enough that I will be doing a full modification guide for it, and because I will be doing a modification guide for it, it makes no sense to snap the bolt on just to have to pry it off with a claw hammer. So I've loaded up these magazines. I could talk about the bipod, but you guys know me pretty well. I've never been a big believer in bipods. I think that they're bulky. You're never going prone in Nerf unless you're like seriously role-playing or making YouTube videos on that vein. And then these I thought were spring-loaded, but I guess they're just a button now that you push, and then they pop out, and they have 2 separate layers of height that you could go to. So you could fully actuate this, and then these have the ability to flip up this way and flip back this way. So this is definitely one of the more featureful bipods that Nerf has made, but you can see it wobbles something ferocious because it does just attach to tack rails. Speaking of which, there is no tack rail up here, and in my mind, this is a perfectly good foregrip built into it right here or up there. So if you are tall enough that you can reach this foregrip, I think that that's fine. If you're not, this one's actually pretty comfy as well, and the stock isn't that bad. Like, the stock comes out far enough that if you put it right here, you get a pretty decent, sorry guys, you get a pretty decent sort of profile there to work with. So overall, I think that the ergonomics of this blaster are fine without the bipod, and while it is a cool thing and it is included and the blaster is very expensive, so it's nice that you get a little bit extra, I will not be using it. So let's go ahead and test and see how our Accustrike sniper rifle performs from a standing position. I'll hold the magazine, why not? So flat shots are not super impressive, although they are very accurate, which is good. They're all going more or less towards that same post. If we really wanted to line it up, we can almost hit it, but I think that this is a very accuracy-based blaster, just like all of the Accustrike blasters. I'm sure that the performance will suffer. I will do a full range and chronograph test of the blaster, which I will post in the annotations of this video, which is now an end screen because thanks YouTube. But that is not super impressive performance there. Let's go ahead and grab this one. Now, of note, this stock does store magazines. It'll store pretty much any Untitled magazine, but it fits very nice, very flush with this. However, it's a little loose and a little rattly. That could just be a production run thing. I'm sure some will be tighter and some will not, but I do like that you can store your extra magazine back there. It's a fun feature, especially when you have this much stock. This back here, I'm not sure if it's a priming indicator. It would be cool if it was. Let's go ahead and check. So it is 100% a priming indicator. When that plunger comes back, this panel here turns orange. You guys should be able to see that, and then when I fire, that's going to disappear. So let's go ahead and pop our sight up, start taking some elevated shots, see if we can't get at least 60 feet out of this blaster. So with elevated shots and super angled shots, we're hitting right around that 55-foot mark, maybe 60. It is a very featureful blaster. It is pretty cool. I like it from a form factor style, and I think that that's why you realistically buy something like this. Just like the Long Strike forever ago, this is not a super high performance blaster. Now, it does utilize the Accustrike ammo, and it does a good job of that, but you buy this blaster because it looks awesome, not because you really want to have the best performing blaster around. Like, this is a cool looking blaster, and I think that as far as that goes, it's doing a fine job of it. I think that the sniper-esque role in Nerf has never really been something realistic, since like all a sniper is something that fires from a further distance with greater accuracy. And while this definitely fills the accuracy part of that role, there's no getting more distance out of a open breach like this. It really isn't even a breach, so to speak, because those darts, if you look down the barrel, are just sitting inside the barrel. So it's functionally no different from a front loader. However, it is an excellent gardenia killer, as you can see there. Man, 2 out of 3 is not bad, I suppose. But that is the Accustrike RAPTORSTRIKE. A little redundant, but what can you do? And I think that it's sweet. I think that it's definitely very expensive. You would buy this one if you really like the look. To me, it has a gear-up feel, and the deco is pretty nice. It's much better on this side than it is on this side, as usual. It really drives me crazy. I know that they have to include these logos and everything, but I really wish that they would also black out some of these words on the other side. Like here we've got the Untitled logo and RAPTORSTRIKE and Accustrike series, and over here all of that is blacked out and makes it look much nicer. So that's just my opinion. Luckily, if you're right-handed, that is the side that faces outward, so it'll look good in war footage at the very least. But I'll be sure to take this out to an SE&C war. I think that the ergonomics are solid. I think that the performance is subpar, but I will be doing a range and chrony test of it. As for the blaster itself, I mean, it looks great. It's reasonably priced for a flagship blaster, although Nerf blasters seem to keep getting more and more expensive. And so it's really up to you. If you want a futuristic, awesome shell sniper rifle that performs okay, then maybe the RAPTORSTRIKE is for you. If it is, I'll put a link on Amazon down to the Accustrike series line, and when this becomes available, and it should become available soon, you could purchase it there and support the channel. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Much love. Nerf on. Drac out.